I'll make it right again, but it's no use, you said. And my hunger grows and grows. I have to write the meaning of my life, or else everything's in vain. When the glory tries to tempt you, it may seem like what you need. But if glory makes you happy, why are you so broken up? So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know. So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know. Don't say you lose just yet, get up and move ahead, and not only for yourself, 'cause that's your role, the work that stirred your soul. You can make for someone else. One day you choke, your urges overflow, an obsession.
All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you all are doing well, enjoying your week so far, enjoying this beautiful holiday season, as I'm sure you guys have already spent thousands of dollars on Gunpla. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, Gunpla, and getting things done. I am Steven, aka Midnight Hatter, your host. Joining me as usual from across the country is Adam Blue. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, doing good. Yeah, glad to join. Not my usual setup. I'm always obsessed with that production value, but I'm actually just using my cell phone for today. Gonna have some cool content here pretty soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big Sieg Nu York week, because if you guys didn't catch it, Adam posted a review of the Red Rider kit that was sent to him from Zeonic Shadow, which, hey, shout out to Zeonic Shadow for that.
Yes,
Look at that.
shout out.
We're all representing Sieg Nu York.
Nice hoodie.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
we have our special guest with us today, Manny Mech Dio from Sieg Nu York, the king of the Kitbash. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. I'm not sick. Family's sick, but I'm all right.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to feel a tickle. all of us are coming down with stuff. It's just that time of year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
what's up? Oh, but yeah, today's show is
Oh,
brought
that
to
might have been
you.
that delay.
Oh, you got that delay going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll try to keep. I'll let it be your guys' show.
Well, you know, I think once we get into the show proper, it'll probably catch up, and we can work from there. But yeah, today's show is brought to you by our mutual supporter and friend Ash, who is known as Takayomu and Takaholic on Discord and Twitter. She is the social admin for Gundam Explained. So if you've interacted with Instagram or Twitter's Gundam Explain accounts, it's probably Ash that you're talking to. So yeah, keep doing great work. We've got links in the description if you want to go give her a follow. She knows more about Japanese culture and K-pop than Adam and I do. She was actually on the show a few weeks ago, and she was schooling us on some of this stuff, because Adam and I are just here for the big robots, as I'm sure Manny is as well.
Well, I listen to some K-pop as well.
we all do.
Like I like K-pop. I like Japanese metal. Like Baby Metal is one of my favorites so far.
Heck yeah, and I know Adam's down for that. And yes, I do have to give a couple more shout outs before we start the show in proper. Is again, thank you to Zeonic Shadow for the bound doc. If you caught my video last week where we painted this guy up, this bound doc, This big beautiful Bondoc was courtesy of Leaping Panda Hobbies, which is where Zeonic Shadow picked it up, as well as this O that we've got here on the Argama deck as well. So Leaping Panda Hobbies, great, small business if you are, trying to support your Gunpla or Warhammer 40K hobbies, shop small, shop local, that sort of thing. And as well, I gotta say thank you to Zeonic Shadow again for another kit that I'm gonna have to build here. He's always keeping me busy. So this is actually fresh from Anime NYC. Man,
Yes, it is.
This is a busy man. He gets around. I gotta find a place to put these
Yeah.
Zaku patches that he sent as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you. Like I said, it's a Sieg Nu York week. It's a Zeonic Shadow week, and so we're honored to have one of Sieg Nu York's, shining members joining us today. Long overdue, personally, because I love the work that you do, and I'm excited to just kind of hear about your inspiration process and what kind of brings you to the giant robot hobby. So
My birthday.
that said,
That's
what'd you say?
Like two battling dinosaurs inside.
Uh-huh.
They have like armor for them. They have like shooters. They have like guns on their back.
Yeah.
They have a helmet.
All right, put a heart on it so I know what it is later. All right. Put a like, thumbs up. All right. All right, go ahead. I'm talking at the moment, right, baby?
Logan.
Okay.
Was he talking about Zoids there for a second?
No, it's some weird dino. It's called Dino Fighters. It's some new toy that's coming out.
Oh,
So
awesome.
it's similar to like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. So
it reminds me of there was of course I've been watching a ton of Disney Plus with my daughter, and there was like an episode of these Battlesauruses where it's like all of these dinosaur toys that wear armor and like fight each other, but they don't realize that they're toys, and so they have this weird dinosaur culture of gladiatorial combat. My daughter thought it was hilarious. What?
I think it's toys. It goes along with that. I don't know.
But yeah, so Manny, what got
cool.
you into the miniature modeling hobby? Like I said, we'll try and steer away from the Gunpla terminology, because I think that you stated earlier, kind of in the green room, that you're not a Gundam guy, you're a big robot guy, right?
No, I am a Gundam guy.
Okay.
I am a Gundam guy. But what started me like liking robots, honestly, was like Voltron when I was growing up. When it was Robotech instead of Macross. Transformers, obviously, everybody loves Transformers. And
Yeah.
then I started liking like all the superhero stuff. Like Guyver was my first anime that I watched, so I like Guyver.
That is a brutally violent anime to start with. Like,
listen, I love it. Was that one MD Geist? That's a really cool one. I mean, I could do like a custom build of MD Geist. So all I have to do is just like modify his Zaku. That'd be pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been kind of into anime like since you were little. When did you start like the hobby, like the modeling and building?
I started late 2018 is when I started. And it was just straight out of the box. The first kit I built was the 100 no grades 100 no grade IBO grades. So I was out on disability for work, and I was building Lego, but I'm like, it was hurting me, because I had a wrist injury, and I was watching Hulu, and then they had the first season of IBO. I'm like, oh, okay, and then to find out that they're done with the second season, it was coming out in a couple months. But yeah, that's what got me into it.
That's awesome. That seems like a very popular time to have gotten into the hobby too, right? Like right before pandemic,
Yeah.
and like you said earlier, like that's right before things started to kind of like the market got. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we have, you have builders before the pandemic, then you had the pandemic tiers that came in during the pandemic, and then you have people who are still sticking around afterwards. There was a big boom, pandemic ended, and then it started slowly going back down.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. So what you're saying is we need another pandemic to help boost the Gunpla.
Yeah, I mean, if we all could get paid for it, sure. You know, why not?
Yeah.
If nobody gets, you know, offed or, you know, killed, then it'd be good too.
Yeah,
You know,
there
something.
you go. But yeah, so tell me a bit about you know, sort of your process. So you know, you did this 1/100 scale, no grade, grays, but you didn't do any kind of like customizations to that. That was like just a straight out of the box
Just straight
build.
built.
And
Mhm.
then so what kind of teased that process of like, now I want to start messing with it? Like,
I didn't even start kit bashing yet. What started my kit bashing was Julionius. He did a custom 144 scale grays, and he did it in like a matte gray with some neon, like light blue. So when you hit it with the black light, I'm like, wow, you know what? I could do something like that. And that's when I built my first kit bash. But that was like a year and a half after I started. So I was fairly new and like, ah, fuck it, I'll just jump in. So I did. And that's when I came up with my Donta Leo right here. This guy, he's on
Yeah.
Instagram. But yeah, this one he was inspired by the obviously Halo. A lot of my builds are inspired by Halo.
understandably so.
Yeah.
Like the design methodology in Halo is pretty top tier when it comes to like
Yeah.
sci-fi designs, you know.
Exactly. I
But
mean,
yeah,
especially
Yeah.
since they took Master Chief from the GM Spartan, like that's where they got the
right.
inspiration from.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
not an incestuous relationship, but you know, it's like there's like this give and take between like East and West,
It's,
right?
it's
Yeah.
cyclical.
Cyclical.
It's cyclical.
That's the way to
Everything comes back on.
Yeah, well said. So then from there, where did you kind of start going? Did you start like diving more into like Gundam lore? Because you said you were more of like a Voltron guy, and honestly, I think
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to it. I'm pretty sure that I was watching Voltron and Gigantor before I discovered Gundam.
hmm
Now Gigantor, I don't think that makes the most compelling model kits. It's really just like a couple of cylinders. Um, but yeah, so would you say that like that kind of led you down the path of exploring more Gundam stuff, or were you more, because it's kind of like Warhammer, right, where you have like two sections
hmm
of the hobby, like the gaming side and then the painting side. And so it's like, you know, when it comes to Gundam, it's like you kind of either go, I'm going to get deep into the Gundam lore,
Mm.
or I'm going to get deeper into the model kits. And so which kind of path did you take?
I originally just went down the whole model path because my second kit that I built was the Unicorn Verka, and I never seen anything about Unicorn. I just liked the way it looked, and I built it. So
And the box art's
that was
beautiful.
it. Yeah, I was more about aesthetics. I tend to like things that look a little more organic than boxy. Like I didn't build my Grams 3.0 until I think 2020 is when I first started, and I still haven't finished it. I like the whole mechanic side of it, but
Oh,
it's boxed out. I want something a little more flowy, you know.
Yeah, yeah, a little
Um,
bit more like that Evangelion Escaflowne
yeah.
style.
Well, I mean, I was heavy into Aeon Flux. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
Like
oh yeah.
very limber,
MTV.
long. Yeah. And
yeah,
then obviously HR Giga was one of my huge like art inspiration.
Oh,
So I used to do a lot of
that's cool.
like artwork like that too. And that's what got me into airbrushing, and then I fell off after high school. Then I picked it back up again.
nice. So you had like the
Ah,
painting
that's neat.
experience kind of already backlogged, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, like most of us, I think feel like we get into the hobby and it's just all about the build, and then painting kind of comes second nature. So you were a painter first, and
Yeah.
then migrated
Yeah.
into the modeling, which is pretty sweet.
It was just a different medium.
It
I was
is.
painting with acrylics, acrylics that I watered down with water or alcohol, and then I just go on a canvas and paint, you know. But when it came to modeling, when I switched to lacquered, I was like, that's a whole different thing. You want to make sure you get things right. Temperature has to be correct. You don't want no orange peel. You don't want no pullback. It was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's high chemistry right there.
Mhm.
um, and to this day, I'm terrible with like lacquer airbrush paints. Like I'll still airbrush in acrylic because I'm terrified of of
But see,
branching
you
out.
got to think about it this way: if you're gonna keep your figure as a statue, go acrylic. You could go acrylic. But if you want to change the pose once in a while, you want to go lacquer because it's more resilient.
Yeah, something
You know?
that's not going to chip off as easily.
I think.
Mhm.
So now,
Exactly.
when
You
you're
would have to have a
painting,
lot.
oh, go ahead.
Good.
Oh, I was going to say,
I
so when
said you
you're,
would have to have a lot of friction. Sorry.
yeah,
You
that's
would have to
true.
have a lot of friction for the paint to chip. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so when you're painting, like, do you do everything airbrush start to finish, like airbrush primer, airbrush, or do you like use rattle
Um,
cans at all? Do you, what kind
I
of,
started with rattle cans with
okay,
primer. Primer, I did rattle cans, and then when it came to just doing color, it was airbrush. And I always did everything in the same PSI. I do it like between 15 to 10. So everybody's like it's very low, but it's more control. You control the flow. It's not about rushing to get it done. You want to make sure everything's paneling out evenly. You're getting those lines even, saturated.
Okay.
that's, I've heard similar,
Yes.
similar PSIs, like, I think the most I've ever heard of someone going is like 20, and at that point, it's like you start getting the sputtering and the spider webbing and stuff like that, right?
Well, the reason for that to happen is could be moisture is getting into the line, so you need to get a moisture trap, or you're not adding enough thinner. So you have to mess around with both. So if you get the moisture trap on and you start airbrushing and all you're getting is spitting, that means the paint is drying too fast. So you need to add some more either retarder or you have to add some more lacquer to thin it out more, and then you'll be fine to go.
There you go. See, so
Good.
you're schooling me on this, because, I
Well,
mean,
I learned this from Brian. I learned this from
Yeah.
Brian and Chris Pabs, Bro Builder and Pabs. Yeah, they know their stuff when it comes to painting.
that's awesome. So so it wasn't like a huge learning curve for you from switching from canvas to plastic, or would you say that like plastic behaves differently under paint?
Plastic behaves way different. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about when you're airbrushing to do a light mist to break the water tension on the surface, and then you go on it with a regular spray, and then if you want to get it glossy, then you do a nice wet. But I don't know any of that. Not at all.
So then,
But it's good to have people. It's good to have people in your corner that know stuff. Like I mentioned,
Yeah.
Pabs, Julio, Brian, Kyle.
Yeah, that's what helped me. It was mainly the community that helped me figure out how to airbrush.
Mhm.
yeah,
You
I
have to add
mean,
the right question. That's all.
yeah, community. I mean, as much as I hate the word, Adam knows that I'm like,
Yeah.
not
Oops.
not
Trigger.
communities and fandoms, but I think that there's something
Mhm.
different about what like Sieg New York has going on, right? Because you guys meet in person, you do these build
Yeah.
nights. It's
Mhm.
it's not just like a face online that you kind of talk to occasionally or talk via text. It's like you guys get together and you can really see what each other are doing, right? Um,
Mhm.
and I think that
Well, we
there's
talk online every day. We talk online every night, every day. From as soon as I leave for work, we're all talking on Discord, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get to work. And then when I come home, I'm usually up from like
Cool.
10 to 4 in the morning, and I'm talking to guys, and then I gotta get up early for boys. So
right, yeah,
Wow. That's cool.
it's crazy.
that is
We're a
great.
family. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah. Look out for each other in more ways than one. Obviously, looking out for each other in the hobby too is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to show off some of your work here on stream. Let me go ahead and switch to a screen share view because I've got your Instagram profile pulled up so that people can actually see some of the work that you've done. I know we've already got plenty of your fans here in the chat, but we'll for the benefit of those who are just getting to meet you. So this was
Yeah. And
uh
for a treat.
this was your cerulean project build. So what
Yeah.
was the kind of walk us through the inspiration from start to finish?
All right. So, like I said, I like Halo. My favorite was Halo Reach, and I
Right.
wanted to, build my own Nova team, basically. So that's why you have Jorge here. His codename was Jorge, but I named him Jorge because that's associated with Halo. I got to make myself, separate. But it
Understandable.
also, when I build this, I think about people who I build it for. So I always, when I name a model, I name who the pilot is for that model. So this is Clipping Nubs, and it fits his profile. He's very strong, very strong personality, very straightforward, and somebody you can rely on. So that's what the backstory is. You read it in the Cerulean Project book, the whole story on it. I pass it on to Julio to read it. He's like, I fucking love it. I'm like, all right, good. So he's the pilot for this, and for me doing this, I wanted to have, like I said, a more organic feel, not just a boxy robot. So it went through so many iterations. This is another 3-year project. So like when I started kitbashing, I did like 8 different 3-year projects. They're all just waiting to come to light. So this is the 4th one. Beautiful. All right. Anything you want to know?
Well, so I mean, I love the idea of having stories behind your builds. I'm the exact same way. Heck, I made a whole video about that bound dock and like creating lore around it. So I think that's so tight that you've got this like, everybody's got to have a backstory. The pilot's got to have a backstory, and then like even in the build itself, I can see some of the storytelling going on here, right? Because you've got the funnel rack mounted on the back, in addition to the extra large rifle. You've got the minigun mounted on the right arm. So this is, like you said, it's there's no nonsense to it, but it's also got, I would say that there's like an operative path to which to the way that this unit would be used in combat, right?
Yeah, like if you need somebody to be reliable and blow shit up that's in your way, call this guy. That's what it is. You see that circle part in the back?
Oh yeah.
Go back one.
Right here.
That, you know what that is, right? No, in the middle between the funnels and the Sazabi gun.
Is that? I can't tell. What is that?
It's part of the Zaku Warrior ammo rack. I use it as a radar sensor.
Oh yeah, I was like, I see that kind of radome shape, but I didn't know what part it came from.
Yeah.
So there's so many different kits that you've taken parts from here, right? Because you've got like the heavy arms missile mounts on the legs, right? Looks like, is there what are the thighs made up of? Because it's got kind of like a Metroid.
All right. So the thighs came at me at like I think like a 10-hour build session. I was off for the day, and it was like literally 5 a.m. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna close up, put everything away, and the thighs are from the Zaku Warrior. They're the calves of the Zaku Warrior, just flipped upside down.
I was gonna say, yeah, I see
Wow.
Like if you could flip it upside down, you'll see it. Like, oh shit, where's the foot?
Exactly.
That's cool.
See, and that's
So I had to
beautiful.
make it work.
I mean, that's so, and then like I said, it's got that kind of Metroid silhouette that I think you were referring to. It's got like kind of an organic feel, nimble legs, but like a sturdy torso and large shoulders, which such a cool look, honestly. And so did the head come from the GM Spartan, or was that like one of the Cold District GMs?
No, it is actually from my buddy Dirt Diggler. He Clint, he sent it to me. I said, and you know what, I'm gonna use the head for that, because originally I was just gonna use the Buster Gundam head, but I realized after I added the high new torso to make it look like he's wearing a flak jacket, I'm like, oh man, it's kind of small, And then a lot of my friends were like, listen, you gotta do something about the head, either bulk it out or do something different. So I'm like, you know what, let me use that. That's what I did.
Nice. Well, hey, shout out to Diggs, and I know that I mean, we had him on the show as well.
That's pretty cool. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's cool how collaborative it is. I mean, again, that's part of what you were talking about, Hatter. How a community triggers you, but really, when it comes to this aspect, people coming together.
Yeah. I mean, sharing parts, like it's I
know, it's awesome, especially if someone could be like, "This will look good." That's helpful.
Yeah,
that's super helpful.
And again, that's something that you can get it from like online communities, and you can get it, like you said, from talking, every night with these guys. But like something about being in person and being able to say, like, you know what, I think that head would look better like this, or something like that. there's something a little bit more collaborative. Now I see everyone's clamoring in chat to see the Soul Burza. So
Berza, I think, was the only one that I didn't do too much modification with. Like she went through like maybe 2 different phases of redesign, and this is the second phase. So I just kept it.
I'm just guessing here, like Exia, Woundwort, and like Freedom or whatever one of those seed ones. I don't know seed too well.
It's double O quant, Exia, legs, but the shoulders are the Exia rebuild RG3. So I use expensive kits. I don't care. That RG that RG Exia, it was like $85 on Amazon. I'm like, fuck it, I just use the shoulders, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. And yeah, it's the real grade Freedom wings. The is it Strike Freedom? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
And did those
That is
effect
nice.
parts? The effect parts came with the Freedom, right?
No, I had to buy that separate on Amazon. I got it for like $20. Not
Okay.
Amazon,
Oh,
eBay. But it was
that's
Bandai.
cool.
Bandai. I didn't want to buy that. What's that? Silver Eagle, whatever company that is. I think it's out of China.
Oh, third party.
I don't trust the plastic on clear. I trust the plastic on other things, like if you want to do a weapon. But as far as like effects, I had to go Bandai.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet. I mean, there are a lot of like I'm a big fan of like the Kotobukiya like option part sets. Honestly, I think that the Kotobukiya radomes, like the radar dishes, those ones are way better looking than the Bandai ones. The Bandai ones tend to have a little too much like kibble on them and stuff, you know.
Well, I mean that's true to the old sci-fi look too, back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, like Star Wars. If you think it's Star Wars, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Ninja.
So this one, we actually let me go ahead and switch to the start to finish, because I think like we've seen like some of your completed works. I think it'd be cool to kind of see through the whole process, because you sent me these photos.
The file, yeah.
Yeah. So this folder's
That's originally what Ninja looked like. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh man. So it started off as, man, I can't even identify some of these parts.
It's the quant legs. It's the quant legs, RG quant, lower torso, and then the upper body was an IBO kit. I forgot which one it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. You know. And then I went to the forearms to be the barbatos, the shoulders, the togies, RG. The head is from the Build Divers, I think. The Build Divers police thing. They had like different heads. There's like 2 different heads.
Yeah.
Chest is Dantelian from IBO. Legs are still quant. You know, torso is still quant. Yeah.
Now, how many alterations did you have to make in order to get like the joints to fit? Because I know that like between different series, like the IBO kits don't typically fit real well with like, you know, the 00 kits or the UC kits. So it's like the joints are always a little different. You have like a ball joint here where it's a peg joint there. What do you normally do? Like, what's your approach to, you know, making things fit?
I cut, I glue, I pin. That's it, really. Like the Ninja, the bicep connecting to the shoulder is just runner. I cut the runner because I need a straight rod. I glued the tip, put it into the bicep, and then when it goes into the shoulder, it's just a straight shot. It holds everything.
That's pretty sweet. I love the recycling. Like I'm a big fan of like making use of your runners if you've got them. Like, and a lot of times they do tend to fit into the polycaps.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So now here's where you swapped out the feet, right? Because before
the legs and the feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, before it was the Quant A, and then I'm like, no, I don't like it. I wanted to be a little more robotic. So then I did the Dantelian legs and the feet, and then I swapped out the feet and put the Togi's feet. That's it right there. See, like my thing is when I'm gonna build something, it has to be highly articulated. It has to have a good center balance. That I was just showing you right there in that picture. That it's on its toes. It's on the toes, and that whole thing is balanced out.
That's impressive. I mean, I can't get like any of my kits to pose like that dynamically and hold it with just a single point of contact like that.
Yeah, it's tough, but you get used to it. And there he is finally.
Yeah, the lad
He
himself.
was inspired by I forgot the Spartan in Reed Storm with the skull on his mask.
Oh yeah,
Emily, I think. I don't remember.
yeah.
Emil.
Emil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
this this one was inspired by Emil, and at the time when I was like taking breaks, I was playing an old game from Xbox 360 called Metal Gear Rising.
Oh
Yes.
And
yeah, that's a great
and,
one.
and that's what got me the idea to like add a little more to the forearms. Those forearms are actually the Ultraman forearms.
Oh,
And
really?
what I did was, I added plot plate to thicken it out so it could fit the forearm of the Barbatos.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And I love what you did with that Barbatos katana because like it's such a plain part and it's so small and narrow. There's not a lot of room to really do a whole lot with it, but you've incorporated color into the handle. You've made the blade a different color than what would you call that? The tang, like the center of the blade. And then
Yeah.
did you apply these kanji decals to the center
No,
here?
that's from the master grade IBO. Barbatos.
Ah.
Yeah, it's from the master grade one. So I just added that on there. I wish I could paint that small. I can't. I tried painting it. I'm like, no, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, yeah.
And the sheath in the back is actually is custom also. It's if if you can find another picture of just the back from my Instagram, I'll show you
Oh yeah,
exactly what
let's
it is, and you have a better idea.
yeah, let me find that. So,
That's my cyberpunk pose. All right, yeah, go to that, the one that says his name. Yeah,
yeah,
it should show his back.
cuz I love the size and like the chunkiness of the sheath. Like,
Mhm. Let's see, come on. Oh no, I didn't show it. I don't remember if I put it anywhere. I might
yeah.
have to just send you the file. Hold on, I'll
Um
see.
I wonder
Let
if
me go to
maybe
my
one of
library.
the and then I love your basing techniques, right? So like this is what base is this from here?
That's from the real grade Evangelion, the
Wow.
unit one's base. I'm like, what? Let me put them on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes the base tells you. All right, here's the picture. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you. Save to phone. Any day now. This may take them. All right, there you go. This may take. All right, keep on with questions. Come back. Yeah. Oh, so this one right here, I'm pointing at the screen like I could show you what I'm pointing at. That one right there is supposed to be like the sister to Ninja, and it was basically a 30-minute sister. I'm like, what? Let me do something crazy.
I like what you've done
She's
here.
still on. She's still on hold.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Well, that's always the case, right? So,
Yeah.
It sounds like you're like me, where you've got like 6 or 7 projects on deck at any given time, and
When you get inspired, you just have to flow with it, and then get to the point where you can't do anything and just put it on hold. I send you the picture.
let me see if I can pull that up over here. And then yeah, I did want to mention, because this is such a powerful quote to me while I'm pulling this image up. I do want to mention this motto here that you have: build, learn, inspire. So like that is such a powerful statement to me. That's kind of like why I started doing what I was doing, like why I started making YouTube videos, why I started streaming with Adam, that kind of stuff. So, tell me about that. What's the sort of, it really sounds like a credo, right?
It's like a mantra, I guess, because you could
Best airplane.
you can make the best airplane.
It's like a circle.
Yeah.
I have to like throw it and spin it.
Throw it and
It
spin
won't
it?
work.
Okay. So sort of like a chakra.
No, it's a circle.
Okay, I get it.
It's like this.
Oh, like a pool, halo, like a loop. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need paper
Like,
for it.
They want to build something. I gotta inspire it, you know. But like I said, you can use that in anything, because when you're building something like a relationship, you know, you got to build it. You got to learn from it, and then you got to inspire it to make it what you want it to be. It just can't just be what it is.
It's, you know, 3 dads here. We build our children. We inspire our children. Maybe not build them, but
And we learn from them.
Well, I mean, in a sense, we help bake them,
Yeah.
and then we learn from them, and they learn from us, and we inspire them to be the best that they can be, better than us.
Well said. Well said. I just wish that they came with like the instruction manual with like the illustrated pictures and like the parts.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Certain things you're like, oh god, man, how do we do this? But other than that, I mean, it's more common sense. Like, I don't talk to my kids like babies when they were young. They started talking when they were 2, like full, because I talk to them as if they're an adult. I want to help progress their learning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm the same way with mine, even though, she doesn't understand what I'm saying, but the tone.
It's gonna get there.
So here's the image you just sent me of the sheath. So okay, I didn't even see that you have a little sidearm underneath
a little
too.
Side sheath, knife. Yeah. So, what do you think that sheath is made out of? I'll give you a hint. It's a real grade kit, obviously.
Right. You don't mess with any cheap high grade stuff.
No, I do sometimes. I mean, the barber toes on the kit was all high grades. I bought like 5 barber toes just to mess around. All right.
So is that a rifle barrel? Turned upside down?
Yeah, it's a rifle barrel. Yeah, but that gray part is not a part of it.
No.
That gray part right there is the sheath from the Ultraman swords, and I just cut them up, glued them back, and made a whole different thing.
Oh man, that is sweet.
There we go. If he's asking what something could be from, it's probably not Gundam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
I realize that.
Am I? Because that's the Dober gun from the Tolgis.
Oh,
with the Ultraman stuff. I mean, because that's such a great
No,
idea.
That's a great part, yeah. But no, the main body of the sheath is the Dober gun from Tolgis, the real grade.
Yeah.
I just hollowed it out and used it because I wanted something mechanical that looked nice,
Right, and that's right up there with that like Metal Gear Rising aesthetic, like something that's got lots of like articulated parts, and it looks like it could transform into something.
Yeah, like the whole hinge system. I learned about that hinge system when I built my first gym. I was like, yo, this will look cool as a hinge system. Because I was messing around with a whole bunch of things. I'm like, okay, that's the hinge system for the shield. For the real great
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
I just not oval.
Okay.
So
And it looks similar to what's even on the Origin Master Grade Origin RX-82 shield system with that articulation and stuff. Those are good pieces, actually. Now that I'm thinking about that could be used for a lot of things.
Yeah, and it holds the weight very well. I was surprised because I didn't round off the pegs; they were squared, so the hole was circular. That I square in, so it adds more friction, so it keeps it weighty and like it holds it. It's a structural.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, so that's it's really cool to me the way that because I'm such a novice at kit bashing and taking parts from one sort of part of a kit and then applying them to another. Oh, shout out, thank you for the sub. I don't know, again, my sub alerts are, I can hear them but I can't see them. But yeah, I'm so not like, what is it that you have this vision where you can say like, okay, I'm gonna take this foot and then like turn it upside down and then all of a sudden it's a shoulder, like that, the ability to kind of view objects as a that's like a great idea off the top of my head. The ability to view objects as more of like silhouette pieces or structural pieces as opposed to seeing them as what they are, because a lot of people when they kit bash, it's like, I'm just going to take the legs off this kit and I'm going to put the shoulders of that kit, and, hey, it's a Kitbash, but it still bears the same, overall design of the original parts. Whereas what I'm seeing here, it's like you've taken elements of a kit and then created something new out of it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if I know I want, I have to make it work. That's all it is. I have to make it work.
Raw stubbornness.
Yeah, because like you said, build, learn, inspire. You're building kits, right? I'm building kits. I have this kit batch waiting for me, and I see this stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, this will look good over here. Because when I build kits, I don't just build to get it done. I figure out what can I do with the pieces. How are these pieces working together? Where can I use them in certain other things?
I
That's
love
all it
that.
is.
So then would you say that you sort of, how often would you say you go based on the manual versus like, just taking...
I definitely go on the manual all the time. I go on the manual all the time because I want to fit in. Because if you know exacts, then you know exactly what to do with it. That's all.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, it's really, it's the same as like painting or scribing. It's like you have to know your tools in order to know what you're going to do with them, right? So like in the same way, what PSI to use, how to thin your paints. It's like you really have to know how do these joints interact with this type of plastic? How does this arm work, and how can I incorporate that into what I'm working on?
Yeah, that's true. I have to practice on my scribing as well. I tend to
Don't we
like
all?
Berza on the thighs. That was all freehand. I didn't use any guides. I just steady hand, just getting it done. I was eyeballing it, and it turned out to work in my favor. That's only because I did carpentry since I was 15, so I learned how to eyeball things the right way. It was always
Another
a bet.
skill right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
eyeballing it. Yeah, well,
yeah.
hey, I think that I've said it before, everything that we learn in Gunpla, we can apply to other areas and aspects of life. When my daughter was born and like I started having to use LEDs more than paints and stuff, I was like, oh, well, I can actually work on electronics when she's asleep, but I can't paint and do stuff like that when she's asleep. So like it got me comfortable with working with electronics, and now I'm like doing circuitry around the house. I had to repair my Christmas lights. I'm like converting my battery powered Christmas decorations to AC/DC Christmas decorations, which are stuff that I never would have dreamed of doing prior to experimenting with just low voltage stuff in Gunpla. So so yeah, that said, are you planning on doing any LED play?
I'm doing LED on this new future Kitbash.
Okay. Can you
Not
share
so
any
much a
details, or do you
Kitbash.
want to kind of keep those cards close to your...
It's gonna be a Gundam X Guyver. So it's gonna be a crossover between the two. I'm gonna make a Gundam turn into like a Guyver.
Please tell me you're going to put the elbow blades on.
Yes, I am. I'm using the base kit that I'm using is the Exia because I like the head sculpt of it. I can send you a screenshot of what a mock-up looks right now, but I'll send it to you later.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But it's gonna work. There's a lot of I gotta mess around with like some putty and some styrene like cuts and stuff to get the head just right because the Exia head is it's a weird shape. It kind of cones into the front, and then the face of it is very small. So I would have to protrude it outwards and build outwards. But it'll work. It'll work.
I like that. And the commitment is just, it's going to work. It's not I'm going to try. It's it's going to work. So would you say so between like scribing, lights, what would you say is the technique that kind of intimidates you the most? And then what would you say is the technique that I guess painting would be the technique you're most comfortable with, right? Or am I assuming?
But I'm very comfortable with painting, decals, kit bashing, obviously. As far as difficulty, I would say scribing. I want to get really good at like placing detail. Like I've seen people who do scribing work, and it's just amazing piece of line work. and I'm just like, I don't know how to fucking do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this whole year coming up is gonna be a lot of research. I'm gonna buy a lot of books and just learn.
And
You know,
there's a lot of like,
yeah,
tools. I'm sure that like, us being Gunpla builders, you get those targeted advertisements for like, oh, here's like an easy scribe tool that like traces none of that stuff works. I promise you, none of it works. The best piece of advice that I've gotten about scribing actually came from a mutual of mine on Instagram, Living Dead New Type, and he said the key is not caring whether it's symmetrical or not. He's like, you get it as close as you can, but just acknowledge
Mhm.
that you're never going to be looking at the outside of the right and left leg at the same time. So if they're a little bit off, it's not a big deal. Just move on. And I was like, okay, I think that doesn't apply to everything, because like if you're trying to
No.
like say you've got like a shield and you're trying to scribe on both sides of a shield symmetrically, then you're SOL.
I mean, I wish I had that sense of whimsy, but I am very anal retentive on detail scribe. Like Berza, anything that came off, I'm like, oh, gotta get back in there with that glue. It's not even, because no,
So
I
you do
like,
the glue trick, right?
even if nobody else cares, I know that it's there. If I know that it's there, it has to be right. That's it.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
same way, honestly.
Like you see a lot of builders who do the inner frame. They do all the detail work, all the different colored textures, different paint textures to mimic mechanics and surface treatments and stuff like that. And then they
And
cover it up with armor,
right, you
and then
cover.
nobody sees it. But the thing is, they know it's there, so it makes them happy.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I understand it. I appreciate it.
Well, and like what like what you were saying before is, if it's a model kit that you're not going to treat as a statue, if it's something that you're going to interact with, that you're going to repose, that you're going to,
Mhm.
do different things with, then yeah, you do kind of want to make sure that every piece of it is perfect.
Mhm.
It's not the same as like, have you ever done any like diorama work where you've created like a stage?
No, I need to get into diorama. I really want to get it. I think that's what I'm going to do this year. Also, get into diorama and do some LED work.
So those are the
I
New
need to.
Year's resolutions. You heard them
Well,
here.
I'll probably start next month on the
We're
diorama, because I need all my guys in diorama.
Yeah, I mean dioramas are cool, but like you said, it's a totally different medium, I would say, because you're like you said, you're not going, you don't have like a posable toy, well not toy, model kit, but like everything is kind of fixed in place. I learned that the hard way
Mhm.
when I did my first resin pour diorama last week. Let me tell you, once that thing is set, there's no going back.
There's nothing, unless you just start from scratch. It's okay. That's a learning lesson.
Exactly. And hopefully I can inspire other people, is
Yeah.
right. Like I
Yeah.
built a piece of crap, I learned from it, and hopefully I'll inspire people not to do what I did.
Like what I do whenever I'm done with a build. I mean, I used to post all the time because I thought I needed the attention. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna build myself. So I do. And when I post it, it's either when I'm in the middle of the build phase, not at the beginning when when I'm showing what I'm doing, because I want people to have a conversation with me. Like, how do you do that? And then, all right, you know what? Let's go to the DMs. Step by step, I'll show you how to do everything, instead of just posting it out there. If people don't care, they don't care. I like the
Yeah,
conversion.
I agree with that.
And then once the build is done, it's done.
And I think that like there's
That's
something to be
cool.
said about warts and all, like seeing the process
Hmm.
start to finish, because a lot of builders do just kind of share like, here's the finished piece and here are all my photoshopped images of it, and it's like, wow, that's really impressive. I don't know how I could ever reach that stage, right? But like when you see some of like the process shots of and the decision making that you've made through the course of building out a kit, I think that stuff's more
Hmm.
inspiring to people, because it's like, well, holy shit, I can do this, right? And that's what it's all
Exactly.
about, I think, when especially when you're talking about communities and the hobby in general, is like, you don't want to um what's the word, not gatekeep, because that's not the right word for it, but it's like you don't want to make people feel like it's unattainable to do the things that you do, right? You want to like encourage people and say like, look, this is attainable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's been a couple of people that hit me and they're like, listen, I'm doing this kit and that kit. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And then you show me. I'm like, okay, that's simple. I don't have the kit, but I'm looking at what you're doing. I'm going on the internet, looking up the model that they're working with, and then I'm like, okay, you could do this and you could do that. Like this, I give them options, and then they'll hit me up like, yeah, it worked. Or I'll never hear from them again. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Information is free for me. I don't care.
That is admirable. Well, sweet. Yeah, I mean, I love what Ash said in the chat here. Greatest lesson to teach a new generation, and that's what it's all about. It's like passing on the skills to the new generation. Well, yeah, we are kind of running up to the close of the hour. I don't want to run over because I know that we have some prior commitments afterwards. But is there anything that you wanted to share? Any thoughts? Anything that you kind of wanted to express before we wrap up today?
Don't wrap up. Keep going. Any other questions? Go ahead. I mean, we have 11 minutes. I'll go right to the last minute.
See that? I love that attitude. So then now,
it's a do or die.
Right? We got to get them in. So let's pivot from the topic of the hobbies and stuff. And so you said that like IBO was kind of your first introduction to Gundam. What series have you watched, and what series are you kind of looking to watch now?
I think I watched everything except for Wrecking Quista. I didn't watch all of Wing. I think that's it, really.
Yeah.
Mostly Wing and Wrecking Quista, G, whatever it's called, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and Turn A. Did Turn A have anything?
Turn A has
Turn A have
Turn A.
Yeah, so Turn A is actually available to watch on Gundam Info, subtitled right now. So anybody who has not seen Turn A, go to the Gundam Info YouTube channel. Not right now, obviously. Stay here right now. And then maybe afterwards watch Adam's video on the Red Rider. And then after that, then go watch Turn A. But yeah, 51 episodes of Turn A available to watch for free on YouTube, subtitled. So, and that's got some really unique design aesthetics to it. How do you feel about like the Turn A design aesthetic? Because I know it turns off some people, but
I saw this one guy did a high on YouTube. He did a high grade custom, like it was almost statuesque because there was no white, it was all gray tone. And he highlighted all the metal components with different shades, different types, like titanium, a chrome, a copper, and it looked like a very simple statue museum piece. And I'm like, that's sick. I like that, and I want to do my own.
Oh yeah,
some of that simplistic.
Yeah, there's well, and like I think honestly, I feel like the design aesthetic would appeal to you because it's Sid Mead, because it's got that kind of Geiger-esque look to it. I mean, I love personally the Turn A Shin Gundam. And this was probably one of the first like paint jobs I did, was because that chest piece is just solid blue. So I painted in all of the metallic details on that, and it's hand painted because I'm not an airbrush guy, obviously, but yeah, I mean,
it's good.
It works, yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. It's like photography, right? The best camera for you is the one that's on you at the time, right? So like the best painting technique is the one that you're most comfortable with.
Now, did you paint it with acrylic?
So it's actually a combination, because I did the details, like the red on it, are all in acrylic, but the chest plate is all enamels. So
that's the way to go, because enamel is there's something about it. It has a long curing time, but when it's curing, it's settling and it levels out so good.
Yeah,
and I like enamel.
That's one of the great things about enamel paints, is that self-leveling effect that it gets, because acrylic paints are going to carry with them any texture that your brush leaves on them. But yeah, the enamels, they harden. I mean, that's why you use lacquers and enamels for nail paint, right? And actually, a buddy of mine, Tony, actually does paint his Gundams using nail polish, and I was like,
Well, I mean that's
Huh.
similar. I found out. Remember, Ankrit paint
Yeah.
that was from RoboKai. They was like selling the Ankrit paint when they first opened up. I found out from Pabs that the paint that they use is similar to what they use in the nail salon. It's just thick before they dilute it. I'm like, oh, okay. That explains why when you spray it and you don't have the right ratio, it can look like a thick nail polish. Like your edges won't be as sharp; it'll round off a bit. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
but you gotta learn. 3-1, guys. 3-1.
3 to
That's the
1.
ratio.
Okay.
Yeah.
See that I'm glad that you're giving us like actual ratios because I can't work with this like, oh, you want it to look like skim milk, and I'm like, well, skim milk, soy
Well, it does look
milk,
like
oat
skim milk.
milk.
No, it does look like skim milk. But then again, like I said, I learned from my best friends. I have a lot of best friends in this hobby.
It's easy to make
Cool.
friends in this hobby.
When I first started, these were like people who were like GBWC, like almost world winners and stuff. And it's a lot you learn, and you have to take your punches. You got to take your hits. Sometimes like, listen, I wouldn't have done that. This looks not that great. There's something wrong with that, and you got to be okay. A lot of people who get into the hobby, sadly, they want that instant satisfaction, gratification.
Yeah.
And when they get the negative, they're like, no, 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 you're just being a bully, you're white knight. No, we all been through that shit, And just because you got into it and you want to get some huge followings doesn't mean you don't get any critic. You got to get some critique too,
Yeah,
Like I was
absolutely.
in the art field since high school. I went to high school just for art, and it was all critique. So, like, what do you expect?
Yeah,
You go into a field of art, you're presenting your art piece. People are going to critique,
and there's
and you can
truth in
take
what
it. You
people
can
say.
learn from it. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, like I said, I'm always gonna live this down. Like I am single-handedly the worst ratioed Gunpla YouTuber in the world. But my hand painted enamel Zeta Plus was one of the first videos I put up on YouTube, and there was a lot of people that were inspired by what I did, and a lot of people that had a lot to say about it. And you know what? A lot of them had some great points, and that's why I stripped it and repainted it. Is like that's my redemption arc, right? Is like, hey, I put this out there as like this is what I'm trying to do, and some people dug it, other people didn't, but like you said, you got to take the good with the bad, and really listen to people, because even if they sound like an asshole, sometimes there's probably a little truth in what they're saying, right?
Well, I mean, you can't really take what they sound like on text. You just got to take it as if you're reading a book. Like, you should have done this. That's it. Don't take it as personal, because you can't read
Good way to
personality.
think about it.
It's what's in your head. If you know that there was a problem and you're reading somebody showing that there was a problem that you already knew, and you get angry, it's because you're upset with yourself. You're not upset with somebody who exposed something you already knew.
That's a very good point.
Let's just be real.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, that's something definitely to remember, and especially because there's a difference between somebody critiquing you as a person and then critiquing your work. If someone's calling you an idiot because you painted something, like, that's not the same as saying like, hey, you didn't thin your paints enough. You idiot.
That's true. If somebody calls you an idiot outright forward, then they're just being hurtful because they maybe they had a bad day and they want to take it out on somebody.
Yeah. Or maybe they're jealous because they didn't, like, haters exist for a reason, right? Most people hate on other people because they took the chance, right?
Sorry, Jackson's talking to me. Jackson.
No, you're good. You're good.
Some final words of wisdom.
Get your coat on. Tell Logan to get ready. Kelly's here. All right, you gotta go to the babysitter, all right, baby? All right, bye. Yeah, the babysitter's coming to get him.
Oh, okay, good.
She's taking my second oldest, Logan, to urgent care. Yeah, so as far as like could you please try that? Okay, I'll tell you. No, you don't need to. See this right here? These are pulls. So you pull them and you hold it tight. See? Go. Get your coat on. Get ready to go. I can't help you with nothing. I'm still talking, baby. What do you need? Ask Kelly. Go get the door for her. Don't make her wait outside. Jeez, I'm sorry, guys. It's still dead. Still a deck. Still gotta do
Yeah,
work.
you don't get
Yeah.
time off from that job. That's
Yeah, it's for life.
that's right.
All right. I love you, boys. Go have a good time. Take it with you. All right. Make sure you go to urgent care so Kelly can take you there. All right. Yeah, he's going to urgent care. Get the stomach bug thing. He's been out of school. I think today's third day. He has to have some kind of note from a doctor.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You bring something. I
Yeah.
bring something.
All right. Okay. All right. Sorry. No, where were we?
No.
Where were we?
Hoping your family gets better. We've all got like
Yeah.
illnesses going around.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's that time of year. You know, if it's not
Come here
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Bye.
think that. But yeah, no, I think that kind of about wraps it up, right? What do you think, Adam? Did you have any other questions for Manny before we let him?
Yeah,
go?
hit me up.
No, it
Hit me up.
was no, it was so great. Yeah, talking to you, Manny. Like you've got a lot of wisdom. So I will probably hit you up when I've got some questions. Because yeah, it's just been from doing this YouTube stuff that I've been learning how to airbrush and customize, and I feel like I still have a long ways to go, but it's fun figuring it out as I go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is, especially with like color theory. Like I don't know anything about color theory. I just do what went well with something else. Like what color goes well with
Yeah.
what, and color blocking is always fun. I see a lot of people, they do like they'll take the model and they'll put it on Photoshop, do an outline, and then they'll print out the paper and like I want to do this and do that. I'm like, nah, this is
Oh.
gonna go here because it has to go here. You know, like you understand where things they have to go. You know.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then I do more of the equalization. So if I'm doing a chess piece and it has these certain tones in it and they're in a certain order, I want to follow that flow of the chest into the shoulders. So if the body is a certain tone, like let's say code name Jorge, he was a light green, but I
Right.
wanted to take it a little darker, so I did the secondary green and then the tertiary green, and then I did the orange and stuff, just to blend it out, uniform.
Yeah.
Same thing with Berza. If you look at Berza, like with her standing still, you can see the whole chest flows right into where it's supposed to. It's just a flow of direction for the eye to follow and like, ooh, I like this, I like that. But
Exactly.
if you have something that's too muddled up and too gaudy, I guess you would say, there's a whole bunch of pieces everywhere. You get a headache from looking at it.
Yeah, that's like design theory, right? Where you take like that golden
Mhm.
ratio and you kind of build out, like your 30%, your 30%, and so where you concentrate details versus where you let things kind of breathe a little bit. Because I mean, I know you're probably the same way, where it's like if it's just too many details and too many, like if it's over rendered, so to speak, like you just there's nothing to fix your gaze upon. And I think that's why I
Yeah,
like
you
that
lose
kind
it
of.
all.
Yeah, that's why I really like that that kind of classic design aesthetic, things like the Granddaddy Gundam or like the Gundam Wing, where it's got that big green gem for you to focus on. Like
Yeah.
that's the focal point, and then you can kind of like let your eye drift out from there.
Yep. Exactly. Something that draws the attention, so where somebody could talk and then like, ooh, and then they look at it like, all right, but don't lose it. Don't lose the intention for them to be inspired, because if you just muddle it up, you lose everything,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes something that's passe. I guess you would say, like, just people just pass by it, and you want something to catch.
Hmm.
So always keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's
You're doing something for you, but you want people to see what you did.
right. And it's a learning experience. Like, sometimes you're gonna start simple and then work your way up, and then if you go too far, scale it back, kind of.
Mhm. Exactly.
Well,
That's
that's
why I
what's
do
up.
a lot of phases on my models.
See, and that's why I appreciate it. It's like, you get to see all of those stages. It's not just, hey, here's the finished product, and just assume that was my first draft.
No, never. If somebody says that this is their first draft, I'm like, you're lying. Where are your mistakes? and if they don't say they made any mistakes and they put the model on a black background, it's heavily shadowed. I'm like, you're hiding something.
Oh yeah.
You're not fooling anybody. If you're not hiding anything, put the model in the background. Let's see everything.
Yep.
That's
Full
it.
lights.
Yeah, a lot more lights.
Word. Well, I got to get back to work here, but Manny, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your time and your wisdom with us, because this has been sweet, and like it's been so awesome to get to like interact with each individual member of Sieg Nu York, because like you all bring something different to the table, and you all bring a different level of wisdom and experience, and so I have to express how much I appreciate what you guys are doing for Gunpla builders, not just in New York, but all over.
Well, we try we try to inspire everybody, because if you don't inspire, you're doing it for yourself, but if you put it out there, you obviously want to inspire somebody to get some interaction out of it, whether it be positive or negative. But you always got to lean towards the positive. Don't think about the negative, because the negative is only for the moment. It's going to pass, and just go on.
Exactly. Well, hey, I appreciate it, sir. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and catching the stream today. Love y'all. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Love you too.
See y'all later.